Given the timing of this budget as a springboard for an election, how can any voter trust that it's about what's genuinely best for the nation rather than what's best to get the Liberal Party re-elected?
Can't have it both ways.
Treasurer, what's contributing to cost of living is inflation, and so therefore you have to be careful to not do things that are going to make inflation worse. How is it responsible to pump up government spending in an economy where inflation's a serious risk? That over, say, 20 years, there have been a lot of forecasts that we're going to see wage rises and then they've just stayed flat.
Well, you're pointing then to the Labor Party's record as well, and I welcome that.
You've been in power for 9 years. Come on.
But the record is.
So where is the money going to come from to give workers additional wages when they're trying to meet very substantially increased supply costs?
Well, again, employers will pay what they need to get the right workers, and
you can only pay what you've got, right?
But
removed in 6 months. Is that timing simply a dirty bomb set for Labor if it wins the election? You'll turn around in 6 months' time and then blame them for a sudden increase in petrol prices? But what you've done is now distort the market because you've made petrol cars go back to being cheaper and you've changed people's focus perhaps from electric cars, which is supposedly what your renewable vehicles policy would aim to do. How can people trust that these are the most worthy projects out there, not just the best pork barrels on election eve? But are you telling me it's just coincidence that so many of those projects have landed in areas and seats that you really need to either win or hang on to win the election? When Labor was in power, I mentioned to Andrew Probyn earlier, the maximum their spending ever hit was 25.9% of GDP. And we all remember the Coalition was screaming blue murder about how irresponsible that was. The Coalition's now well above that and staying there. You said in your speech tonight, when Labor starts spending, they simply can't stop. Was that a typo? It shouldn't have been Liberals? Yeah, but you didn't.
So we've taken those steps.
You weren't acknowledging those pressures when the other side was in government. I'd point out to you as well that if you have a look at the size of the deficit for this year versus next year, it's 79.8 billion, and then next year it goes to 78 billion. So really, you're not making any inroads there over the next 12 months at all. It's being honest that you'd like a shot at being the party's next leader, but if Scott Morrison loses the election, aren't you irrevocably tied to that loss because it's your budget that he's relying on to launch the campaign?